Well, I think that all of us need change. Change is something that I think creates new development. If you look at business and the business industry, you can look at an existing business. Unless the executive who's running the business implements new change, the business stagnates. The same is true with government. If we see the same officials in the same positions forever, there's very little change in government. So you bring new officials to come in with new concepts and new ideas. And the same is true here with education, that the system can stagnate if it simply continues on the same means that it has in the past. And I'm not saying that there's anything negative about that when I use the term stagnate. I'm simply saying that when you can offer something that's new and different and innovative, you can put something out that perhaps will create something that is better. And unless you take those risks, unless you're willing to pursue the new challenges, then you go nowhere.
Okay, folks, 1 minute till class. Please pick up. Well. All right, victory interrupted. Okay, let's go, guys.
Just an exceptionally positive first year. The school is now on the map. It's always tricky to put theory into practice or to embody an idea, because things always get distorted and whatnot. But I think really the essence of it is seen in the day-to-day. It's what people had in mind, whether they knew it or not. Like you can walk in and say, this is it. This is what we all want. Now, what is the it? Well, we're not quite sure. You know, what do you call this? Let's try to articulate the it.
This is a group of people looking to drive some change at the local middle school. In terms of kind of low level of juice on the part of the kids. They weren't too invested in the school. Parents were not invested in the school. There was a kind of a sense that it was a holding pen for kids for 3 years before going to high school. And there had been, over time, there'd been various hues and cries about the middle school and what can we do to make it better. And we were just sort of the next wave of that. That was really the beginnings of the piece. We had talked about a school within a school. We had talked about somehow some sort of adjunct program. And we continued to meet and continued to find resistance to those other forms of reform. And it became obvious that the only way to truly change an existing institution is to set up an alternative. And unfortunately, that's the way change happens in education. Either happens very slowly and organically within a given institution, and you have to nurture it and guide it very, very carefully over a long period of time, or you can establish a choice situation like this, and things happen a little more rapidly.
Boys and girls, Andy, I'd just like to welcome everybody here this afternoon. Thank you. Is there anybody that we have left off? What we're going to do, oh, Katie. 2.5. Hi, Kara, do you like your name tag? I do too. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to stay fire in this room till 2 o'clock and really sort of learn and get to know all the kids here in this room. And then, with permission, you may go in twos maybe to another room if you need to see another child of a different age, okay? So have a good time. That's what the whole point of this is. And I hope that you find some good data. Don't forget, your observation sheets have to be maintained. If you didn't get one, come up to me and get one.
I was teaching at Nauset Regional Middle School for over 20 years, right up the road, and I was teaching grade 6 and being quite successful at it. I enjoyed teaching grade 6. And all of a sudden, this group of people came together to try to improve education, and the Educational Reform Act was also happening simultaneously in the state and federal level. It's just an exciting idea that there can be such a thing as school choice. If students choose a school, they have more commitment to that school. They feel a sense of belonging to that school. They have a chance to determine what is taught in that school and the nature of the school. And so, to me, that is exciting. It's not just a big machine driving it from top down.
I think my favorite thing is the flexibility. And an example is last week when the right whale was beached on the weekend. I came in here and there was a call on the answering machine from the Center for Coastal Studies saying they were going to do the autopsy, the necropsy, on Monday, and could you come down and see it? And so I talked to Dan, the director, and some of the other teachers, and they said, go for it. So I took my seminar kids, who usually meet on Mondays and Wednesday afternoons. We took some video cameras, we took some audio cameras, some still cameras, and we went out and we covered that thing. And we got to cover that thing, and it was probably the best, one of the best academic days these kids have ever had. Kids were just walking around there saying, this is unbelievable, I can't believe I'm in school and we're doing this. I've been getting calls from scientists and people involved saying that your kids were better prepared and covered that better than the real journalists who were there from newspapers and television stations. And we're calling the scientists back who we interviewed, and they're returning our calls in the middle of a busy research season. So the flexibility to interact with the real world in meaningful ways is by far the best thing, because if you can't make education real and meaningful in the final analysis, you just might as well not be in it.
Of course, there were a lot of spectators taking in today's activities, but none more interested than two young students from the new charter school in Orleans who were getting some of their own work done at the scene. Chris Gregg and Carl Monroe are producing a radio seminar on the right whale for WOMR Radio in Provincetown.
I was sort of so on the subject of cutting open the whale and looking at it. I didn't know if they would do it, but I mean, they have done it, and they're in it, and they look like they're just trying to learn and trying to save the whales. And so I think they're making good progress, and I'm really impressed.
Would you ever be interested in doing this type of work that you see these people doing?
Maybe, I don't know. It looks pretty icky, but other than that, it looks pretty interesting too. But I think the interesting overrides the icky part.
I think that public education has become bogged down in bureaucratic overlay. This is as nice a way to say it as I can think of. Too much time and energy is being expended, and money, maintaining an upper level. At the charter school, we have one director, a board of advisors, that's us, who are free, and kids, all working with the paid staff who are teachers. That's it. And we would rather invest our money in teachers than in administration. Bottom line. Teachers have the everyday exposure and the innate sense of what needs to happen with kids. And as long as we're addressing the state guidelines and the framework, the educational frameworks, the way that you accomplish that depends on the energy of the kids and the staff.
Danger.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I can try it?
Hey.
You try to steal my cookies.
Yes!
All
I
right.
was right.
One wrong. I mean,
One wrong?
Okay. Here.
Who is this doctor? This one?
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. No, oh, wait. Yes.
Try it.
Yes. Did it! Right through. Ta-da! I was right. Uh-oh, I got one wrong. What happens when you get one wrong?
Oh, you get off soon. It's all wet.
Do you get younger?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, I'm looking at that.
The most wrong. What about this information?
No.
How about this? Sugar.
If it's rolled up, it'll just fit through there.
No, this one. No, try
You sure?
it. Yep. No. 8 years and under.
This is a good one, having this sugar like this. Now, can I break the packet and pour it through?
No.
I can't. Why not?
Because the sugar has to be in the packet.
That's not going to fit through.
No.
I was wrong again, wasn't I?
Yep.
How old do you figure I
Mr.
am?
Stewart's a great A student.
I know.
How about this? If I roll it up?
Yes. If you roll that up, that will fit through.
Please be quiet while I read it, okay? Get comfy. And you're going to use your polygons because I'm going to talk about them. The first chapter is called Of the Nature of Flatland. I call our world Flatland, not because we call it so, but to make its nature clearer to you, my happy readers, who are privileged to live in space. Imagine a vast sheet of paper on which straight lines, triangles, squares, pentagons, hexagons, and other figures, instead of remaining fixed in their places, move freely about, on or in the surface, but without the power of rising above or sinking below it. Very much like shadows, only hard and with luminous edges.
Okay, we talked about you needed your person and you needed your place when you went in there. Now you should have some information that you pulled from the books from the resources. Remember, you have to have 3 written resources, minimum of 12 pieces of information. Emily, you're looking puzzled. That sound familiar? It doesn't sound familiar. Your packet, the historical biography sheet, we've gone over the requirements for it, right? You should have 3 written resources. I gave you the forms to fill out for the bibliography, and then you need 12 pieces of information from those to put into your story of the historical biography. Okay?
Wait, 12 for each one?
No, 12 all together. Okay? And you can have more. You can have 12 resources if you want. You can have 5 resources if you want. You can pull more than one fact from that book, but you have to have a minimum of 3 sources.
Okay, what about this?
What's that?
Yeah. And be as descriptive as possible again.
That's Mr. Torlone.
Are you writing on Cool that Mr. Torlone. But it's
No, I think I might agree with you.
Mr. Tolone better not watch this.
That's a, oh, you know what, that's a flightless, it's like, is it an auk? Or is it
Toucan Sam.
it's a toucan, but with
It's Toucan Sam.
no, it's a puffin. That's a puffin.
okay. Where's this?
That's a very flat dog.
Okay, what about the storm?
That's interesting. What happened is it's a rabbit with an Audi. It's got a serious Audi right there. Yeah. And something happened to its eyes. Yeah, rabbit. How old am I?
You've gotten the worst score possible. And have you ever heard of Piaget?
Oh, Piaget.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I have heard of Piaget. Was this one of his experiments?
No.
No? Well, then why do you ask?
But it tells you.
Is that part of the test?
It would prove it if you did or not. And you just like kind of proved it wrong.
I proved what? That Piaget was wrong?
Yeah.
How so?
Exactly. Because he thinks that he thinks that there's 4 different stages. And
What are the 4 stages?
I have it written down yet. There is.
See the guy that talked about concrete stage and
Concrete operation.
concrete operation?
Yeah. There's the sensory motor object stage. There's the pre-operational stage.
Right.
There's the concrete operational stage.
And then there's the
Formal
operational stage. And where would you put me along that continuum?
Well, in the way you insert the sensory motor object.
I'm at the sensory.
When we all got together this summer and started talking about how to organize our curriculum, we were anxious to have themes that the classes could see themselves working through during the course of the entire year, and then see some kind of a continuum across the years as they move through the middle school. And so the 6th grade is who am I, the 7th grade is where am I, and the 8th grade is what am I. And the 7th grade where am I very specifically is handled in my classroom in humanities during social studies as to geographically where am I in terms of time, how am I affected by what's happened in the past, where am I going in the future. We're doing a unit on our town, on immigration. We're very concerned with Cape Cod, so that fits right there. And then interrelated with that is the language arts that flows along with that sort of theme. It pops up through the entire year, and we can keep coming back to it, and it kind of encompasses everything that we do. It's very appropriate to 7th graders too. They are genuinely seeking the answer to where am I, in many ways.
We had to leave fast. We were using the washroom next door and carrying water over and
one thing I think was really sticks with me, and I think exemplifies what the school is about, is just a phrase that we are dealing with life on the edge. And there's a lot of edge walking that goes on. If you look at that metaphor, you can look at it in several ways. Life on the edge, physically on the Cape, right? Because we are on the edge of the continent, sort of jutting out there. Life on the edge of a millennium. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of sort of convergence of trends and issues that are happening now, and everybody's sort of looking forward to the turning of the millennium. Life on the edge, transitionally, as for kids. It is a transition from childhood to adolescence and adulthood. They're really living on the edge, one foot in childhood, another in adolescence and adulthood. And maybe even life on the edge when you look at education reform, sort of an edge type school. And that struck me as really maybe what sort of an organizer, let's say, for how some faculty approached developing their own programs. And of course, we did have the 3 questions that at each grade level the what am I, what does it mean to be a human being, where am I, and who am I, that I think came out of that discussion about life on the edge. To discover what the edge is and where I am on the edge and where I might go, you have to have some kind of at least tentative answer to those three questions. And I think that was, for me, it helped. It was a hook. It was an organizer that I've kept in mind all year.
Well, it seems there's a lot of identity questioning going on with those three questions. Obviously, what am I all about? What am I doing here? What is this place all about? I think that the kids here have a stronger sense of identity because this place forces you to be yourself. Basically, it forces you to be more on the spot. Take a lot more accountability for your actions here. The kids, they're responsible for cleaning up after their lunches, or if you're the teacher, you clean up after the lunch. You don't rely on someone else. That's a real basic example. So I think there's a lot more accountability here in terms of being a teacher, being a person, really.
Along with that, I remember I was never asked those kind of questions. What am I? Who am I? I was never even, that kind of question never came up in my education until I think I was a senior in high school. And what questions like that and the accountability factor, what that does, what that is it's a symbol of trust. It seems like the teachers here trust students as real people, as being able to be responsible for everything from cleaning up to thinking about your place on Cape Cod or in this world or in this society. And I think when kids feel trusted, they trust themselves more, and they're more apt to become their true selves, to become true individuals, and also to see themselves as important members of a group. Whether it's their classes or after-school activities or members of Cape Cod or members of Orleans or whatever it happens to be. I think trusting kids brings out the best in them. And I wish I had been asked earlier, some of those questions. And I think unfortunately many kids are never asked some big questions or to be accountable for their actions.
Well, and this is the next page of when Fu put in your folders. There's another page coming after this, which I'll get to you. These kids are so good. They haven't learned yet to be inauthentic. They haven't learned yet to pretend they're somebody they aren't. College, you have to deal with that. I'm a writer, People they've already started all kinds of masks, which you have to strip away. These kids take their material absolutely, front on. They just grab a hold of it and they're off and running. Very authentic. It's really fascinating. I actually love sitting out there in the middle of kids must think I'm nuts because I sit there, I really look at them. Because it's interesting, to see what they do, how they come in. It's been a lot of years since my own kids were that age, so I do a lot of observing. It's pretty interesting.
The thing you notice when you walk into this school versus walking into other schools is that just the level of energy is orders of magnitude higher.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's too bad you can't do palpable on your video, because you know what it is when you walk in that front door. Bonnie Runyon said the other night, who's one of our board members, she said, "You've seen the car commercial on television where the guy is sitting there like this and the wind is just blowing him back this way." She said, "That's what happens to me when I walk in the front door of the 6th grade classroom. You can feel the energy." The youngsters in the charter school are excited about what they're doing.
I think it's one of the hallmarks of the school. I would characterize it as a place where there's a lot of excitement. One man came by the other day and was looking around, and he called it elan, which I thought was a nice way of capturing the excitement that the kids have. It's a French term that means kind of joyfully engaged. Elan.
I like that. I prefer a lot of energy to apathy. I prefer trying to control an uproar than trying to stimulate people who are just unresponsive. I like that. I think that's how you learn. And I think the more that's going on, the more they're hearing as well as saying, as well as seeing. And I think kids, especially at this age, need to learn through all those channels. They need to see things and hear things and do things and say things. And so if a class is livelier like that, I think it gives every kid a chance to experience the kind of learning that's going to work best for them. So I try to use all the senses, all the activities.
What?
Parce que les femmes sont plus jolies, n'est-ce pas?
No.
Il a compris. Il a compris.
Kurt, come on, join in this.
Imagine taking 130 kids and putting them in a shopping mall with no published rules, and you could very easily get anarchy. And I think for the first couple of days, I know that we veteran teachers just walked around with our mouths agape, wondering what in the world we'd gotten ourselves into.
Well, it is perplexing. It is perplexing at times. But I think that's the nature of it's almost like weather patterns sometimes. Sometimes you have storms blow in, sometimes it's wonderfully calm and sunny and bright. Other times you get a twister.
The most successful thing that I found is to be a little silly, and what is a teacher? What's a teacher supposed to be like? And I don't know. It's not like me. I don't think. The kids always say, "You're not a teacher. What are you, 17?" And like, yeah, no, I'm 27. But what is it? As long as you maintain decorum, you're teaching them well, you care about them, you work hard and show them how much you love what you do and that you care about them and that you want them to learn and everything. That's what you have to be. And I think just maintaining that philosophy or that approach has been really successful in getting those kids in. As I have some kids who I know were just the bane of other teachers' existence. They're just yada, cracking a joke left and right, and you want to strangle. No question, I want to strangle them as much as the next person. But you can get them so they'll work with you. If you can laugh at their jokes, if they're funny. They're funny. Some of these kids are hilarious, and though it may not always be appropriate, but once they realize you respect their sense of humor, but put a lid on it when it needs to be, then they will respond. I can think of 3 kids in particular that just they push it, but then they know, ooh, I'm going too far, and they're we're good at communicating that way. Caleb, one day your mouth is going to stay that way. And how are you going to feel then? In what way? Like this. All right, go to page 1.
It's my job to take that energy and to channel it in ways that sometimes quiet it way down to internal energy that gets focused in orderly ways. There are times when there's real noisy, exciting energy, but you can have a room full of energy that is completely quiet. But if you see kids engaged in writing or engaged in an important discussion, it can still be energetic, but quiet enough.
4,500. Okay. 4,500.
Yeah, it is.
Zoom it all around.
Recording, Matt? Oh, come on, Matt. Yeah.
Hi, Matt.
Joe, will you stop that, Greg? Greg's recording me. No, I'm recording Greg. Look at it. Kevin, tell me where I'm going when I start running, okay? You're gonna okay. Oh, yeah.
Your fire warning really helped. Thank you.
Oh.
Watch for this.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Smart bringing this.
Every time I do that balloon project, or I do any big project, I guess what I learn is that when there's a project or an end result or something exciting that it all pieces together to, that you pull in tons of the pieces that you don't teach, that if you just taught things in math from a math book, that you would probably never get to, first of all, and there would be no connections. We still spent a ton of time on volume, and we spent a lot of time on graph and on graphing, and we looked at variables, and if the mass goes up, what happens to the density, and if the volume goes up, what happens to the density. And so things that generally are difficult to understand made a lot of sense to the kids because they had a reason to understand it. And then in the end, you have a great day where all the parents come and they think you know, done this great thing, and the kids are so happy, and these huge hot air balloons go up and fly across the lawn, or some of them don't, but they all laugh and they all feel like they're, you know, one big community. After we launched the balloons, one of the students had brought his video camera and took footage of it, and we got back and it was lunchtime, and he asked if he could, you know, use the VCR. He didn't even tell us what he was going to use it for. We said, sure, and he put his video in, and within 10 minutes, the entire 6th grade class was in the same room watching it and laughing and rewinding it, and they were all, you know, this one unit. It was so great. So, and even the kids whose balloons didn't launch, it looked like they had launched on the video because of the way he tilted it up and all you could see was blue sky. So the kids whose balloon flopped, they felt like, wow, my balloon really flew. But it's just really neat to see how that kind of activity pulls everybody together.
Although they're not diverse as far as ethnically, they're still pretty diverse as far as intellectual capacity and pretty diverse as far as home life and things like that. I mean, I think there's like almost like when you have a school like this, you get a lot of parents sending their children here because, you know, they think, well, this is going to be academically more challenging than the regular school. But I think also you get a lot of parents sending their kids here because the kids didn't fit in to the normal school system. And sometimes they don't fit in because they're not going to fit into any system, including ours. But so we have those extremes on either end, these very academically gifted children, but we also have some children maybe that don't fit into an institutional kind of thing very well for various reasons. And so there is that extreme, and there's the center. So I think that behavior-wise and curiosity-wise and everything, there's an extreme. I think that's good too. And I'm surprised at the coherency among the students that exists, actually. And I think the house, the three-dimensionality of the house is nice. I'd be tempted once again to, see you got this side the same tonality as this side, right? Gray, gray, gray. I'd make this maybe white, white, gray, so it gave it a kind of three-dimensional, so it kind of popped out a little bit. Because you had it that way one time, and I thought it really looked good.
Okay, so she's got a book here where there's two first persons. One is who? What's her name?
Megan.
Megan. That's one first person, and who's the other?
Greg.
Greg. So they've got two first-person perspectives talking about each other, and you get to hear the arguments that they have with each other. But I saw another hand over here. Yeah. Go ahead, Tim, and then I'll come back to Erica.
It's kind of infecting creatures back.
The kids that do apply, I think they want something a little different. I think this place does really well with kids that are self-directed, kids that can take an idea and kind of run with it on their own, and that's not easy to find in 6th grade. And we do our share of redirecting kids, but the kids that I can think of off the top of my head that really thrive in a place like this are kids that have a lot of energy and have a lot of direction on their own. Yeah, those are the ideal students in any situation probably, but they thrive here.
I read that book.
Okay, and he uses first person. Oftentimes, if somebody's quoted as saying, I did this, then I did that, if the author pulls a quote, then that person is being quoted. They're speaking in the first person.
Yeah, but when they're doing it like that, they make you, it's like Buck, you're inside of this dog, and you hear what the dog is saying, or the dog is thinking.
That's true. One of the most effective tools for an author, and you guys might think about this as you're coming, as you think about writing a piece, is that you can change your perspective. Just because you write third person one place in your story doesn't mean you have to keep it that way. Okay, you can jump perspectives around, and it actually makes for a fantastic mix. It's kind of like having a lens zoom in one way and then looking from a different angle, changing all the time. Guys, can you chill out a little bit? Andrew.
Okay. Do you want me to read?
They came for a variety of reasons. Some of them came because they thought they would be pushed academically, and that was important to them. Some of them came because they saw it would offer them more freedom. Some came because it was going to offer more opportunity in terms of being in the community and making connections, doing hands-on type of things. Other people were encouraged by their parents because of the goals of the school, the philosophy, because of the reputations of the teachers that were there. Some came because of dissatisfaction with the social issues that they were having to deal with on a regular basis in school, because the philosophy of the school might have differed from whatever they felt it should be. For whatever reason they came for, I think they've not only been successful in coming in and adapting to that, but they are very happy with what's going on here.
Can I hear this top D? Good. Again, pick up to 60. Or 1, a 2. 2, 1, up. All right, guys, can I suggest the following things?
They're kids. That's the type. They're kids. They're every size, shape, color, form. They come, some of them have come with special needs, some of them have not. They were all drawn by lottery. The thing that I see is that they are encouraged to be the best. And they are. We have kids with serious discipline problems. Kids we were told would not succeed well because they didn't have the capabilities. We're finding that not to be so. That does not mean, however, that there haven't been problems with kids, because if you're alive, there are times in your life that you're a problem. But there's no castigation for that. There's discipline, but there's no castigation. So that's exciting, you know, to be valued, even with your warts. I mean, what could be more positive?
I would make this just a little bit higher, make it a little bit higher, so it feels more like it's outside and not sitting on the window. Yeah, yeah. So you have some space on the plaza outside, all right? If you have some space, so you have a space to put some tile or bricks out there. Yeah, good, good. That'll look great. We'll have some nice shadows coming in, you know, that'll go along right in here like that. Great. That's good.
You know what? We're gonna save the world.
Okay, yeah, we should do those, get those right now. Clean McJames.
So you guys work today, are you like in
Everything you need? Good. Andrew, you got your cross? Lectures? We'll come back here. So you don't have to bring everything, just report stuff.
Hey! Oh, I forgot the 2 C's. Yay! Here you go,
Reeve, are you okay? Yeah? All right. You want your...
Oh, we lost this sucker. All right.
Sorry, but what do you do again?
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
You do it?
I never like... I was gonna do it, but I'm gonna eat them.
You guys are looking marvelous. Let's go in.
You know this too!
Oh my God.
Here you are.
Yeah, I did. Actually, it's not coming out.
Justice Richard O. Staff presiding this afternoon. You may be seated.
My name is Riva Batterman, and I'll be making the opening statement for the defense. My colleagues this afternoon are Rebecca Gordon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Josh Honstrub.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Eric Carlson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Casey Miner.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
And Andrew Baker.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Today we have an action pursuant to Title IX of the Federal Education Amendments of 1972, 20 United States Code 1681 for sex discrimination, based upon the alleged sexual harassment of Brandy Barkley at Jamestown High School during the 1994-1995 school year. The plaintiff, in order to prove that Jamestown Public Schools is guilty of sex discrimination, must prove by a preponderance of evidence that Jamestown High School was discriminating against Brandy.
I also found for the defense on question of performance. I congratulate both the plaintiff's side and the defendant's side for an extremely fine job, well done. I hope that some of you may consider a career in law. I think that
You're in the finals! No, get out of here, fool! Hey, get in the picture. Yeah.
If anybody thinks long-term in this whole world, they'll realize that it's actually better for them to switch to electric cars. Better for them to switch from coal power and have a little bit less light in those light bulbs from like solar power. And maybe a little less TV every once in a while. And actually work on some stuff.
We have kids from all levels of ability and all interests. I can't say there's one kind of kid here, except for they all had parents who read the newspaper and parents who cared and parents who filled out the application form. That's what's similar about them.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, unbutton this shirt here. Button what shirt? Oh, those. Put it around here, around the top. Watching this.
How come you're the only one who knows how to tie?
Because I really wanted to learn. I didn't want to ridiculous
I learned for a
somebody
day.
else tie my tie.
I learned 5 times each for a day. I thought it was.
I think it's parents who are involved in their kids' lives, who are paying attention, and they're willing to get involved. And I guess that's what it takes. You have to be willing to act as an advocate for your kid to get involved. You can't sit around waiting for somebody to do it for you. And even some of our parents are not as involved as others, and they say, well, I didn't know about that. Well, pick up the phone. You know, everybody is busy. We all have full-time jobs in addition to doing the board activities. And I think our board is a little different from some other boards because of the way our school is set up. The director's not in charge. Everybody is working collaboratively, really. And so I think there's tremendous responsibility for everybody as a result of that.
We set up a phone tree for the school so that every parent can be reached within about a half an hour of needing an emergency phone call made by Dean or any other kind of notice. We've set up, like I said, chaperones for every field trip, drivers. We clean the school. We have lunchroom duty. The parents are welcome here. The school I came from, we couldn't even get phone calls returned to us by the teachers and the principal. They couldn't care less what our thoughts, opinions, help, anything was. And here, I'm very fortunate in being in a big committee and being involved with the students and the teachers. I felt that even before the school opened, I really knew the faculty well. I knew Dan well. I was comfortable sending my son here because I knew what it was all about. I wasn't out in the wings waiting for the information to come to me. I was really in the thick and thin of it.
White or brown?
I think it should really be linked to the admissions process. You really, not just admitting a student here, you're admitting the family. something came up at a meeting the other night that I went to, which was suggested, which is that any of us from the public school, you're kind of used to having it either done for you, or the school may not even want you. Some schools are more welcoming. This is new. It's like, you know, who is the government? We are. There isn't any. Somebody said it the other night. They said, well, I thought somebody would have had all that on computer already. And we all looked around and we said, somebody, I guess that's me. You know, that's so maybe it'll take time for people to get the idea that it's themselves. I'm not sure.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, when I look at the range of students, we have students who have come here quite disaffected with institutions, with institutional schooling. Students who have many artistic talents, students have just straight up academic gifts, kids who are not strong academically. So if you look at it from one sense, it's a fairly broad range. I think what they all have in common, which is sort of it's a human quality, is simply the need to be part of a community.
I think a common theme in what we're trying to achieve is the idea of connections. The way traditional education occurs, English is separated from history, is separated from math, is separated from science. The classroom is separated from the home. The schooling is separated from the community. The theoretical is separated from the practical. One of the themes in our approach is to make these connections, because in real life, these artificial barriers do not exist. Real life is interdisciplinary. Our school makes the natural connections between math, science, between the practical and the theoretical, between the work in school and the support in home, between the school community and the larger community in which we live. This is a common thread running throughout everything that we're trying to do, not to make artificial connections, because the connections are naturally there, to show the students that the connections are naturally there, to help the student appreciate the connections, and to work in a world within which connections are made.
We do have mandates set by the state. We have 5 years to achieve the goals of our charter, and those are fairly clear and are written down, and the state's got them. So we do have to get somewhere. We have goals to attain, and we're working towards those. But as all of education, the real interesting part is getting there.
And Spanish and French are as follows, so make sure you have that. When you have it, you may go.
I hope we never get where we're going. I just want to keep going.
Here you go. Okay, next question. Please.
How do you see the Lighthouse Charter School? Is the charter school a hat and gum chewing school, or what is it?
Wow, I think it is a hat and chum going. Chum going. It's a chum going school. It's
how we're going to arrange ourselves to ensure orderliness from the kids, and in the essential orderliness that's necessary. It's hard for me to say that word. It must be it's definitely a Freudian issue with me. Orderliness. With kids this age, if you don't have some kind of preordained system of orderliness.
I've made my lunch 4 days this week and left it home every day.
Play a song, John.
Okay. Please don't.
No, I think you got it all. You got absolutely everything. There's nothing more about this school that you could possibly find, unless you could use your cameras to find out what kid is stealing the wafer from the urinals. I'd really like to set one in there for a while and find out who's taking the urinal wafers. If you can do that.
Who would want to take the urinal? That's probably the place to start.
That